is Rob from Elias, and you're at Popularity.
Are there nerves that set in prior to the release of a record?
Totally. It's always kind of nerve-wracking in a way because, a year of our lives, go into making something, and then all of a sudden it's done, and you're kind of left just shrugging your shoulders and stomping your feet and wondering what people are going to think. It's definitely a little bit of a nerve-wracking time, but I think we're at the stage now where we kind of do what we do, and we don't always fit into certain genres or scenes or anything. So there's never that total scaredness of alienating fans or trying to losing people that have already in the past maybe liked us. So I'm more curious right now to know what people are gonna think, or people are gonna react to, which songs people pick up on and stuff like that.
What would you say were the biggest challenges that you were faced with during the creation process for Fossils?
Well, we just didn't want to repeat ourselves, so we really tried to come at the songwriting process from a different way. I mean, over the past little while, we've obviously grown with what we've been influenced by and like to listen to, so we really didn't want to kind of fall back on the same maybe ways we would do stuff in the past, and it's just kind of we really wanted to just try new stuff and go in different directions as much as you could, but in the end you always end up sounding like how you sound like. So I was just hoping that certain influences or certain kind of new ideas come across to people in an obvious way.
Is there a song on the album that was the most difficult to create?
Well, I don't know if there's one particular song. I mean, we wrote a lot of this record on acoustic guitars and kind of getting the bare bones structure of the song kind of in a way that we were happy with, and then transferring it into a recording studio and trying to flush it out and add all the other elements to it. Many of them were difficult in a ways to know if we were doing the right thing or going in the right direction, and some worked out, and then there were some songs that you might not have, in our eyes, even right now, have kind of worked as well as we had hoped. But we're obviously still happy with it, but I also want put it out there. But it's always tough coming up with stuff in the studio and being doing it so fast and not really having time to stop and think about if we're doing the right thing. So a couple songs were really head scratchers. Many looks in the studio are we doing the right thing here? Is this the right way the song should be interpreted full band wise? But yeah, there are definitely a couple that were challenges, and we just had to kind of go with our gut feeling and just go with it,
Were there any songs that just came together really easily?
Yeah, there's a song called Hands and Knees on the record, which I think it is going to be our first single. It was literally a song that I had kind of had the bare bones structure written, and I went in one night with the singer who also plays keyboards, and pretty much showed him the exact chords that I was playing on, so he could transfer the ones from the piano or the organ, and I sat behind a drum kit, and for the first time ever really jamming it in a kind of a full band way, or a louder way, we just came up with this interpretation that's pretty much the same as you hear it on the record. It just felt so right to us, and we'd always go back to this very first incarnation that it was, one crazy night in a jam space, and it just happened so easily that we just kind of never second guessed it, and it's probably one of our favorite songs on the record. It's just kind of funny that it just came about almost stream of consciousness of what how we would go from part to part, or how the drum beats would be, and the building of the song. It just literally flowed from our hands on keyboard and drums in the very first time we ever played it.
Is there a mistake that you saw another make in the industry that now you know that you won't make the same mistake?
A mistake? Jeez. I don't know. That's a really tough question. I mean, I know we did have a lot of pressure on this one to write more geared towards radio, because we had a little bit of success on our last record with a song being picked up by stations across Canada. So I know our record label really wanted us to write the big singles, and we tried, and we thought we were, but our interpretation of what a song should be is obviously different from 99% of pop radio or rock radio's format. So the mistake, we just didn't want to cloud and change a song for the sake of changing it when we felt that one particular version was better. So I don't know if it's really a mistake that other bands have had, but I know we didn't want to sacrifice our own thoughts and directions for just making it more commercially viable in a way.
What do you think has helped to shape the band the most in the last year?
I do again think it's just a lot of new music coming about. We've always been kind of compared to and listened to a lot of the same bands over the years, like that British rock, Coldplay, Radiohead, Muse stuff, and then all of a sudden we just kind of started finding out about a lot of great underground music, and we got completely inspired by other bands that were coming about, like Fleet Foxes and the XX, and a lot of this weird stuff that we don't sound anything like, but they were completely influencing almost every song and how we wanted to shape a song. And I know it's obviously not really, you don't really hear a lot of those influences, but just for us to mention an idea that some other band that we just discovered tried it and kind of in turn try it with our own songs, it really did shape what we wanted to do in terms of the songwriting and the recording process, for sure.
What are you trying to open people's minds up to with your music?
Well, we've always been a very passionate and emotional band, and a lot of music these days is happy sounding and overly just not poppy, but just really bland. Not I can't really think of the word. We just wanted to kind of bring that emotional music back. We like the darker minor chords and melodies and things that kind of we want to connect with your heart in a weird way, and not just kind of write something catchy and poppy. We just wanted to really try to write the best melodies and some pretty music that people can kind of listen to and kind of just zone out on.
How do you keep the music fresh and interesting for you?
Playing our music?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question. I mean, all this new material that we're kind of just releasing now, we're learning it almost how to play it live for the first time. Cause we have a show tomorrow night, and we've never played more than half the songs live in a full band setting. So right now it's totally a fresh period to change some songs on the record and extend parts and make them fit for a live show. It's tough with older material to keep it fresh because